Alrighty then, time for another episode of Metallist Math. We're going to continue on with our discussion of GED Math Practice Test 1. Say that 5 times fast. Okay, so we're going to actually wrap up this this particular test today. We're going to do questions 21 through 25. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so it starts off here. It says the area of a triangle if B equals 12 inches, H equals 5 inches. Use the formula A, which is area, equals 1/2 base times height, or 1/2 BH. Okay, so this is pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're just going to, where the B is, we're going to plug in 12. Where the H is, we're going to plug in 5. So we're going to get 1/2 the base, which is 12, times the height, which is 5. Okay, now you can plug this in your calculator. But remember, when you multiply by 1/2, you're cutting something in half, or you're dividing by 2. Okay, so 1/2 times 12 is going to just become 6, and then you've got 6 times 5, and that's just going to be 30. So that's our guy. Now, the reason the formula is 1/2 the base times the height, if you remember, if you're figuring out the area of like a rug in your house or something like that, you've got 2 dimensions to your room, right? So one of these we'll call a base, and one we'll call a height. Now, if you cut straight across here, you make 2 triangles, and you've just basically cut the room in half. So it's 1/2 base times the height. That's why that works. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the next one. Perimeter. So perimeter means the distance around something. It says of an athletic field is 96 meters. And the length is 16 meters more than the width. Let L represent the length and W represent the width. What equation represents the length? Okay, so in this case, we don't even have to worry about the perimeter thing. We just kind of threw that in there. So length is going to equal, well, it says the length is 16 more, so 16 more means add 16 or plus 16, then the width, and we're using W for the width, so there's our guy. Not too bad, right? Okay, let's move on. So this one says, calculate the slope of a line passing through P and Q. Be sure to reduce your answer to lowest terms. Okay, so there is a formula for the slope. They call it the slope formula, but you end up subtracting y's on top, and then you've got x's on the bottom, and it's a fraction, and it's a nightmare. Let me show you a cool way to do this. So as you know, when you've got these things and you've got an ordered pair, the x is always before the y. So it's xy, xy for these particular 2 points. Okay, and then slope, which they use m for slope for some reason, I have no clue why, is basically the change in the y over the change in the x. So how much does it change? So what you want to do is you want to start with the second point in each of these guys. So we're going to start with 0. We go from 0 up to 15. Well, that's easy. We went up 15, right? That's the top of our fraction. In this one, we start at 9 and go all the way down to -9. Okay, so think of it this way. If you were traveling some city streets and you're at 9th Street North, you have to go 9 blocks to get to Central Avenue, or Main Street, whatever you want to call it. And then you have to go another 9 blocks to get to 9th Street South. So you've actually driven 18 blocks. Now in this case, we have to say, well, we went from +9 all the way down to -9. So that's a negative direction, okay? So it says, well, make sure we'll reduce to lowest terms. Well, check this out. Our answer is going to be negative. That's got to be our boy. But just to make sure, you can say, okay, well, I know I can divide both these guys by 3. We couldn't divide by 2 because 15 is not an even number. If they're both even numbers, you can always divide by 2. So next one to try is 3, and 3 happens to work out here. So we have 15 divided by 3 is 5. We got 18 divided by 3 is 6, but don't forget the negative sign. So that's still your guy. But the point of the story is sometimes you can do something like that, and you see, well, my answer is negative, and there's only one negative answer, so that's my guy. And you can save yourself some time that way. All right, we'll check out a few more here. So it says, this really isn't math. Local weather report states that there's a more than 2/3 chance of rain for Saturday. What is the likelihood that it will rain on Saturday? First one said, it is neither likely or unlikely. Well, that'd be a 50-50 shot. 2/3 is bigger than 1/2, so it's not him. It is certain to rain, and you probably never say it's certain to rain, maybe during a hurricane or something, I don't know. So that guy's probably out. So I think this is our boy. It is likely to rain because 2/3, if you take your calculator and do 2 divided by 3, you get 0.66, which is 66%. So be a 66% chance of rain, which I've never heard a weatherman say that. 70% maybe, but not 66. But anyway, point of the story is it's probably going to rain, but we can't say it's certainly going to rain. Okay, last one. So simplify the given expression. So this is something known as the distributive property. Notice that we have this 9 out front here. We got some stuff inside the parentheses. What this means is they want to take that 9 and multiply it by each of the guys inside the parentheses. So we do this. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times negative 10 is minus 90. And then bring the r along for the ride. And over here, since we're adding a negative number, we can just say subtract 8 and subtract 2r. Cool. So we take our calculator out and we say, so 81 minus 8 is 73. As you do your steps, check your answers. Only one guy was 73. That must be our boy. But if you wanted to make sure, you could say, okay, I've got minus 90 and minus 2 more. That's going to be negative 92. Bring the r along. So still our guy. But again, with a lot of these tests, if you do the first step correctly, there's a lot of times you don't have to go any further. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, well, that wraps up test 1. I will be doing a test 2 on a future set of videos. Once again, I appreciate you guys listening and checking them out. I hope it's helping you out. And be sure to like and subscribe and comment if you have some things you'd like me to look at in the future for you. I'd be glad to take requests, and we'll see you next time.